After 12 years of marriage, my wife's lawyer handed me the papers at work. She was getting everything, including full custody. He sneered, "Your kids don't even want your last name." I smiled and handed him a sealed envelope. "Give this to your client." That night, my phone blew up. It was her mother, crying. "How could you have known the secret from 13 years ago?" I've always known that the world forgives no one, that it's divided between predator and prey. That's why I learned from a young age that to stay alive, to win. I didn't choose this life to seem important or to prove anything to anyone. I just learned, after losing everything, that to never lose again, I need to be at least 2 steps ahead. I've always been the kind of man who works best in the shadows. I spent 15 years as a security consultant, immersed in the world of corporate espionage and private investigations. I learned early on that information is the world's most valuable currency, and it was precisely that lesson that saved me when I discovered that the biggest case of my career would be my own wife. I fell in love with the idea of building something with her. But today, sitting in my basement office, surrounded by monitors and surveillance equipment. The twins were born 3 years later. Connor and Madison, my little ones, the center of my universe. She with her mother's radiance, he with a sensitivity that reminded me of my younger brother, whom I lost in Afghanistan. I would do anything for them, and that's why, when everything fell apart, I didn't hesitate to act. 6 months ago. During a routine check of our security system, ironically, designed by me, I found what I never wanted to see. Hidden financial transactions, encrypted messages. Hotel reservations for 2 made under Diana's maiden name. At first, I thought it might be a mistake, but logic spoke louder than my heart. I began to investigate. Blake Hoffman. I mounted my operation with the same precision I've used in so many other investigations. Hidden cameras in her office, screenshots of conversations, bank records of joint accounts. Emails detailing plans for a future where I didn't exist. But the worst was on her laptop. She thought it was encrypted, but I'm the one who builds those systems. There, I found the raw truth. It wasn't just marital betrayal. They were planning to destroy me. If we can prove he used company resources for his surveillance company, the prenuptial agreement is worthless. With your mother's contacts at the courthouse, you'll get everything, including full custody. And Diana, cold as a viper, Connor and Madison barely know him. He's always traveling. I opened accounts overseas and began investigating Diana's family with the same rigor I'd used in so many high-risk cases. The Harrisons were rich, influential, and dirty. Her mother, Patricia, had been a federal judge in the family court for decades. Her father, Gregory, owned a chain of luxury hotels in the Northeast. They always looked at me like an outsider, an orphan who got lucky. They never knew I grew up in shelters, that I saw firsthand how the world treats those who have no one, and that I swore I would never be the prey. The turning point was when I found a sealed case in Patricia's records. A trial from 13 years ago. Manslaughter. A drunk driver had killed an entire family. His blood alcohol level was absurd. Yet he received community service with no prison time. Guess who the driver was? The son of a powerful businessman. And 3 weeks after the trial, that same businessman donated a fortune to Patricia's re-election campaign. A coincidence? Not a chance. But there was more. That businessman was a partner of Gregory, Diana's father. And the dead family? The Morettis, Italian immigrants who were competing with the Harrisons for a multi-million-dollar city contract. Their small construction company fell by the wayside after they all died. That's when I realized I had an ace up my sleeve. And that, my friends, was just the beginning. Update 1. The morning Diana's lawyer arrived at my office with the divorce papers, I was ready. His name was Lawrence Camper, the type you can spot from a mile away. Tailored suit. Condescending smile, the look of someone who thinks the entire world revolves around him. A typical courtroom creditor, more used to winning by his name than by actual talent. He dropped the folder on my desk like someone delivering a poisoned gift. "She's getting everything, including full custody," he said with venomous satisfaction. "Your kids don't even want your last name." I looked at him without showing any emotion. Outside the boardroom, my team continued working normally. This was a respected, award-winning private security firm, with clients ranging from celebrities to former federal agents. On the walls, photos with law enforcement officials and medals of merit composed the backdrop. All of it was real, and all of it was mine. I opened my drawer, took out a sealed envelope, and slid it calmly across the desk. "Give this to your client." He frowned. "What's this?" "Insurance." I replied. That night, my phone blew up with calls. Diana was the first. Her voice was desperate, shrill, screaming unintelligible things. I ignored her, letting it go straight to voicemail. Then came Blake, seething with rage. "This is extortion, Blackstone." "You can't," I cut him off before he could finish. But the call I was really interested in came at 11:47 p.m. "Patricia Harrison. What do you want?" "Justice. Something you've clearly forgotten the meaning of." The contents of the envelope were clear: sealed court documents, financial records, copies of bank transfers. Photos taken with a telephoto lens of discreet meetings, all proving that Patricia had covered up a homicide in exchange for political favors and that the Harrison family had benefited directly from it. "You can't prove anything," she said, but her voice no longer held any certainty. "I can prove everything. Bank records, archived emails, hidden cameras. The press would love a copy. And so would the district attorney's office." Silence. Then came the question I knew was coming. "What do you want?" I took a deep breath with all the coldness a decade of confidential operations had taught me to master. "Diana withdraws the divorce papers." "That's impossible. Diana will never do it." "Diana will do it," I cut in. "Because the alternative is her mother behind bars and her father in the crosshairs of the IRS. The alternative is the truth coming out and dragging all of you down with it. You're destroying an innocent family." I let out a bitter laugh. "Innocent? Your daughter tried to destroy me. Your new son-in-law was sleeping in my house while planning to steal everything I built. None of you know what innocence is." The following week was a spectacle. Diana tried to resist. She thought she still had cards up her sleeve, that the Harrison name would protect her. Blake went so far as to hire investigators to try to dig up dirt on me. His lawyer advised him to cut all ties with the Harrisons to avoid sinking with them. The final showdown took place in Camper's own office. He looked like a defeated man, his face pale, hands trembling. Diana, for her part, maintained her usual posture, but the spark in her eyes was gone. Blake didn't show. He didn't have the courage. "You win," she muttered. "I want to hear it from your mouth." "What?" "That I never loved you. That our marriage was a lie. That you tried to destroy my life and steal my children." She hesitated. The mask fell. She finally showed who she was. "You were never good enough for me, Troy. My parents always knew it. You're a nobody. An orphan trying to be someone. And yet, this nobody destroyed your entire family." Her eyes widened. "The prenup is irrelevant. Now you'll sign a new agreement that gives me everything. You'll be left with your clothes, photos. Is there anything else you need to know?" She looked up, tense. "Blake isn't missing because I forced him to. He disappeared because he ran away with someone else. Miranda Walsh. Proof that he had emptied everything. You planned to destroy me and were destroyed by the one you thought loved you." In that moment, I saw her world crumble for the second time in a week. They deserve more than a mother who would treat them like bargaining chips. Maybe one day they'll hate me, but they will know their father fought for them until the end. I look out the window at Connor and Madison playing in the yard. Connor is teaching Madison how to play baseball. She misses every pitch. With an innocent clarity not yet tainted by bitterness, that their father stayed, and their mother did not. Diana dropped off the map. The last concrete piece of information I received said she was selling properties cheap at a forgotten real estate agency in New Jersey. No friends, no influence. No luxury she thought was hers by right. Blake did indeed flee, but not before I activated my contacts and ensured that every hidden asset of his was tracked and, where possible, reversed into the right hands. In fact, part of what he transferred with Diana's help ended up assisting in the legal compensation for the Moretti family. Speaking of them, justice arrived. Albeit late. Patricia Harrison resigned from her position as a judge in the midst of a federal investigation. Her face was on the front pages of newspapers. She negotiated house arrest with an ankle monitor in exchange for cooperating with the investigation. A soft ending, considering what she caused. Gregory Harrison saw his hotel empire crumble. His assets were frozen. Investigations for money laundering, corruption, and bid rigging surrounded him from all sides. And when the civil lawsuit initiated by the surviving relatives of the Moretti family finally began, he knew his name would go down in history, but not in the way he had imagined. Karma is not in a hurry, but it is always on time. I don't consider myself a hero. Far from it. I did what I had to do. I played the game with the cards they dealt me. They just didn't expect me to be better at the game than they were. The phone rang a moment ago. A known number. An old client, or rather, a future client. Blackstone Security, I answered. On the other end of the line, a tense voice. Mr. Blackstone, my name is Amanda Richardson. I think my husband is planning to kill me. I took a deep breath. I picked up my notepad. The pen glided across the page almost on its own. Tell me everything, Mrs. Richardson. And please, start from the beginning. Because there is always a beginning. And in this business, there is never a shortage of someone willing to betray, to manipulate, to destroy. But there is also never a shortage of someone like me. And I learned early on. He who shows too much mercy to his enemies ends up being destroyed by them. I learned it in the cold hallways of public orphanages at age 12, after a drunk driver took everything I had. I perfected it in the trenches of the army, where promises are worthless if not kept under fire. And I finished that lesson inside my own home, when the woman I loved tried to erase me from existence. And I have something they can never take away from me, the truth. They lied, they betrayed, they stole, and they paid for every misstep. In the end, I wasn't the one who left the stage, they were. And now, with a new story emerging on the phone, it's time to start all over again. Reddit comment. Sometimes life pushes us against a wall and forces us to remember who we really are. Like the video, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories.